and welcome to Crushing Comics. I am your host, Peter, and we are here to fall in love with my comic book collection all over again. So let's pick our unwrapped book for today. This one. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. So this is bigger than our usual unwrappings because this is almost definitely, let's see how this one is bigger. This is almost definitely an absolute. So, for a while, absolutes were kind of DC's answers to omnibuses. DC also did have omnibuses, but before the last couple of years, they weren't really going at them as hard. But they did have absolutes, which are these beautiful, huge comic books that are oversized and slipcased and have some of DC's most definitive runs. They are not generally like omnibuses in that they'll just track any old book through multiple absolutes. They've done it a few times, but they tend to be for like really big classics. Could be something other than absolute though. We'll see. And of course, my primary knowledge tends to be Marvel, so you don't know what you're gonna. You don't know if I'm going to have anything useful to say if it's not a Marvel book, and I can tell you that it's not based on this size. Oh, it's not even DC! Snap! Oh, okay. So these are Mike Mignola's Hellboy Library Editions, Volume 1 and 2. These are... yeah, they're not as big as absolutes. I should have known. Absolutes are a little taller than this. But are these bigger than omnibuses? Let's find out. Let's see. So here's, yeah, they are bigger than omnibuses. Here's a Marvel OHC. It's not quite this big. So, you probably know Hellboy primarily from him being in movies with Ron Perlman, and of course now there's going to be another one with David Harbour from Stranger Things. Hellboy is a creator-owned property that was around for Dark Horse Comics back in the 90s. Mignola had been an artist on some Marvel and DC properties, but this was his own creation. And you might not know a lot about Dark Horse Comics. They do creator-owned superheroes. They've had their own superhero universe before, but they also handle a lot of licensed properties too. Notably, Aliens and Predator are two of the licensed properties that they handle. But Mignola has been writing Hellboy with them straight since then, and the universe has expanded to what's known as the Mignola-verse that includes a lot of the supporting characters that you might recall from the movies like Abe Sapien spun off into their own adventures separate from Hellboy. So Hellboy has had a lot of trade paperbacks over the years because a lot of Hellboy was not one ongoing series but issued in a series of small one-shots, OGNs, and limited series, and it could be really confusing to collect. So what Dark Horse did was put them together in a series of volumes that collected a number of major stories. So this one is the first volume, and it collects Seeds of Destruction, or Seed of Destruction, and Wake the Devil. And they're lovely. If you can tell, it's got this like felted finish, which is really pleasing to the touch, but it is a little bit of a lint trap. You can see that there. And these books are more or less kept in continuous print for the last couple of years, so if at any point you're looking for them and you can't find one, like, don't freak out and start paying really high prices because it's probably going to come back. So I'll just page through here. I sat down to read this, and I will say that it's beautiful, but it's a very somber tone. Hellboy is not a slam-bang superhero. Not that you would expect him to be sort of like a caped superhero, but, you know, he hits stuff and breaks things and fights demons, but there's a lot of cerebral stuff in these early stories, and you have to go into it with that a little bit on your mind as you're reading them so that you can really fully enjoy them. So Dark Horse collected 6 of these library editions. This is the second one. I still have it in the wrapper because I still haven't finished reading the first one. And there's 6 of these library editions, which more or less can collect the complete Hellboy. There's a couple sideline stories, but this is the main thrust of his story across 6 editions. And then Mignola returned directly to Hellboy from directing some of the other books in his universe, and did Hellboy in Hell, which kind of followed Hellboy into the underworld. And just recently, before I'm recording this video, Hellboy in Hell was released in a library edition, which makes a 7th library edition in this series. So this is, if you like the movies, you should definitely take a dip into the comic books. And the great thing about these books is, for how beautiful and sturdy they are really not that expensive. So you can go on to Amazon or to In-Stock Trades, any bookseller that has a little bit of a discount of a cover price, and get these at a really reasonable price. So if you've enjoyed the Hellboy movies, or if you just like the idea of reading a comic book that's not the capes and cows kind of comic book, and then finally, if you just like Mignola's kind of very plain, almost like semiotic style, then I think, oh, sorry to open to Nazis, but they do have a lot to do with Hellboy's genesis. Then you should definitely check this book out, because I think you would probably really enjoy it. So, I have this one crazy nutty professor hair that I'm noticing here, and it's making me insane. So, I'm going to open 2 more packages of these at some point, because I have all 6, but I might have just said all that I really have to say about Hellboy. Let's give them their proper ceremonial shelving. Let's see, where are they going to fit? Right here. Alright, so thank you for watching another episode of Crushing Comics, and for helping me fall in love with my comic collection all over again.